Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Cyberlux Corporation, trades on the OTC under the symbol CYBL, and is a digital technology platform company providing breakthrough digital platform solutions in a platform as a service, software as a service, advanced unmanned aircraft systems, and advanced lighting, infrastructure, and renewable energy technology to U.S. government agencies, commercial customers, and international growth markets. Please welcome its president and CEO, Mark Schmidt. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate everyone joining us today. I'm going to move to the slides that I have, and I'd like to focus on the company as we are moving it forward at a very fast rate. A lot has been happening in the last 6 months, very exciting times. I'll spend a little bit of time on where we've come from, where we are, and then we'll focus on where we're going as well. So I'm going to queue up the slides now, and we'll have some time for Q&A after this, I'm sure. So Cyberlux Corporation was formed in 2000, originally as a means for commercializing LED lighting technology. We did offer some retail products initially, but we settled in with some Department of Defense initiatives that yielded some really important solutions for our warfighters. We focused a lot with special teams, special forces teams, and that really propelled the company forward from that initial phase. In 2021, after a very difficult COVID 2020, we did begin the process of re-engineering the corporation. We really wanted to address the emerging markets we saw where there was both a consistency with where the company had come from and a leveraging of new technologies, new capabilities. We have introduced since June of last year new products and solutions across a variety of industries. I'll be getting into some details on that, but we have focused the company in 4 verticals: digital platform solutions, unmanned aircraft solutions, infrastructure technology, and then we have our advanced lighting that this was all built from. And then in the most recent months, we have actually had the success of adding 5 different acquisitions to our platform, plus a renewable energy project, which we'll talk about. And we're now focused on over $800 billion in market opportunity as we stand today. The company's history is filled with rich innovation and capabilities that we've developed over time, really around, like I said, originally LED technology, and then we bridged into the Department of Defense type of products and solutions. And that really was what drove the company from 2005 until 2020, independently of our original retail offerings as we transition really as a commercial and defense supplier. We've had a significant amount of product development and product launches in the course of the history of the company. And we've had a variety of partner companies we've been able to work through back in our retail days: Rayovac, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. More currently, Wolfspeed, Cree, Boeing, and L3Harris, all of those which we are continuing to work to build solutions and capabilities. We've had a rich history with our U.S. agencies as well, ranging from the Special Forces to the U.S. Army to the U.S. Air Force, National Guard, and these relationships continue as we go today. Again, over the last 6 months, we've been able to build a really exciting team, very flat organization with very action-oriented. We find an idea, find an opportunity, and we drive it to conclusion. We have some stellar talent in our management team. Larry Isley, who's leading the Flight Eye UAS group, Chris Danvakaris, who's our Chief Revenue Officer, Alvaro, who's our General Manager down in South America, Igor, who is new to the company and is driving our digital platform solutions development, Michael, who has been with the team for a long time and is now General Manager of the Advanced Lighting Solutions Group, and we are still actively looking for a General Manager in Europe. Our mission is to be a trusted provider of digital transformation capability across our 4 business units, digital platform solutions, our UAS, advanced lighting systems, and infrastructure technology. And we are targeting U.S. agencies, global markets, and OEM partnerships. We have, again, assembled a great team, and most interestingly, we've added a new director, Aaron Goodman, and a chief test pilot for our UAS, who is a world champion drone racing aficionado. Very interesting component to the company. Again, as we were re-engineering what we wanted to do with the business in 2021, we really settled on a Cyberlux Corporation platform. We wanted to diversify our portfolio of high growth markets. We have focused on an acquisition strategy to try to grow revenue and minimize some of the development cycles we've had in the past. We want to drive synergies across the M&A process, really to be a force multiplier within the portfolio. And we'll address some of this specifically later on. And of course, driving synergy through our acquisitions. We want strategic intellectual property to be one of the outcomes of our acquisition strategy. And as we collect the world-class solutions for these markets that we're serving. Product excellence remains the top priority. We have had a history with developing solutions for special operators and products that have to be perform at the highest level and be reliable in any circumstance. We also recognize that there's a need for advanced analytics, machine learning, and data science really attached to the massive amounts of data that UAS can unleash and the massive requirement for software and software management that digital capability enables. And we look for achieving a high level of bandwidth through the organization to not only take existing technology, but develop new technology and bring those to market. And of course, we focus on strong financial performance. We want to scale the right product mix and drive the right operational profitability as we go. Maximizing cash flow. I've been at this for a while, and I can tell you that cash flow is king. I think we all recognize that, but we have been building this concept and having these discussions and plans for many, many years, and we now are able to put them in action. And it's really geared to trying to drive our cash flow to a maximum level. And of course, financing is always required as you're growing a business, but that's really paced by our acquisition speed, and it's absolutely adequate right now. And we are working towards an uplisting at NASDAQ as our ultimate goal. Further into the business strategy, we had really 3 elements to this. Growth platform business strategy. We wanted to transform the company into a high growth company through the access to these remarkable markets that we'll talk some more about. Accelerate with acquisitions, joint ventures, and of course, organic growth. We want to invest in strategic intellectual property. We've done that with our acquisitions. Case in point was our first joint acquisition was really to drive our IP in that space to the next level. We wanted an innovative business unit design, combination of capabilities and people skills and technologies where we could address the various markets with a high degree of competitive advantage. We wanted to establish strategic value with key partners and develop end-to-end capabilities, which is both hardware and software, which is why you'll see software being so prominent in our mission now. And of course, we're positioned with key agencies and with OEM partners really to grow in a very organic, exciting way. And then finally, we had significant financial opportunities we recognized, whether it was driving top-level growth in large markets, greater than 800 billion for this year alone, or driving positive cash flow through the business units and optimizing the assets within the business units. And then, of course, growing revenue in a lean way. As you can see from our organizational structure, we do not have any excess. We are driving this as a very lean, agile management system. When you look at the areas that we have focused the company, again, there are 4 business units. Digital Platform Solutions, which is really focused on driving the government and industry business digital transformation. In fact, an example of that for everyone's awareness is the state of Virginia now has an office of digital transformation, recognizing that at all levels of government, all levels of corporate and industry activity, there is need to further transform all operations into fully digital operations. In addition to that, we see UAS guidance systems, support software, and reach through telecommunications and data center analytics, et cetera. A lot of very important strategic ITP development is happening in this area. And again, we're very excited to have Igor and join the team and lead that. FlightEye UAS Solutions, again, this is something that is part of our genetics, as I talked about, where we're developing and bringing to market military-grade hardware and software with all sorts of capability that's very consistent with our most favored product, the BrightEye system within the special operations community. We are, very actively developing far-reaching relationships here, and we're very excited about that business. And you can see from the combination of both the Digital Platform Solutions and the UAS business that we are focused on some very large markets. I think across the board, this is almost $1 trillion by 2025. Infrastructure technology is a opportunistic business unit for us, where we know that all the connectivity and all the capability that comes from being able to put infrastructure technology, feet on the ground, capability where we need it. This also is opportunistic with some of the renewable energy projects that we have. I'll speak some more about that as we go forward in the presentation. And then, of course, advanced lighting, which is where the company was founded. But you can see by the market size comparisons why we are diversifying and why we have created this business unit structure where we can address these very exciting and tangential markets. I mean, these are all very interrelated in a very specific way, as we'll talk about. If you look at the performance of the business, again, 2021 was a remarkable year as we got the Project Alpha, or the Operation Alpha, out of project phase and into operations. And again, Operation Alpha, if you have not been following the company, is what we've termed the overall plans that we have for the business and the availability of opportunities that we then convert into both business unit assets and customer relationships. If you look at last year, we ended the year with $7.7 million in revenue. This year, we expect to be almost 45 million. And as we go through time, you can see that we are addressing really just a small market share of these enormous markets, but it is going to drive significant growth for the company. And by 2025, we should be in excess of $224 million in revenue. Again, as we look at what the company has accomplished in the last 6 months, it's quite remarkable. But it also is founded in the recognition that our acquisition strategy needs to have primary and secondary and tertiary value to the company as a whole. So when you look at the particular acquisitions that we've made, CMTC Drone Solutions, FDB Group, Havas Group, a 30-hectare solar project that we have access and are working on in Colombia, Creatix, our first software holistic acquisition, and then Digital Automated Solution, which was our last, and then we have one in the queue that we are working towards. All of these acquisitions have primary value in at least one of our areas of interest, and secondary value across all the range. So for example, CMT Drone Solutions was a secondary impact for digital platform solutions because we do need software, guidance software. We'll be developing that continuously in-house. It has primary impact on our flight eye systems. And then, of course, our lighting solutions, where all that technology resides, is a primary impact. And then, of course, there is things like drone auditability for infrastructure technology areas where we can envision our drones being used to do the sort of evaluation and inspection that you'd expect all major infrastructure technology groups to require. FBD Group is again another one where we see primary interest across the infrastructure technology solutions, including our Havas Group and our 30-hectare project. And that is, again, a very thoughtful and deliberate acquisition on our part, where we can also see a primary impact on the digital platform solutions where telecommunications software is required. And then if you focus over on the final acquisition that we've done, the Digital Automated Solution, you can see that it's not only just requisite in their business unit, but it also affects our advanced lighting solutions, as we have software that drives a lot of that activity, and then also our flight eye as a guidance system requirement, as we discussed. And again, if you look at the market size of these markets as we're addressing them, it's just an enormous, almost $1 trillion market by 2025, $800 billion this year alone. We have, again, as I said, the Operation Alpha framework, which really encompasses our business roadmaps. This is where we are for this year. This is what we're working on as a collective set of business units, ranging from our digital platform solutions all the way through our flight eye UAS group. I'm not going to focus on these too much detail. We'll post these charts on the website for further review if you would like. But you can see that we have a vast amount of activity across these business units. Truly exciting time, activity and progress in all these areas. And we're just really excited to see this company take hold and develop the way that it has in such a short period of time. There's now a lot of management focus on driving organic growth as well. So, this plan, as it's laid out, is going to always be balanced by the fastest way for us to scale, drive revenue, drive profitability, and drive synergy across our various groups. To delve a little bit further into the software platform, digital transformation is affecting all of our lives. 10 years ago, you would have never imagined the capability that was involved in just a simple cell phone. And likewise, all businesses are faced with continuous digital transformation. Governments lagging all across the globe in this same area. This ties in with our experience with doing work with governments and with businesses. We recognize this market as a huge ongoing market, and one of the areas where we're going to be spending a lot of our time and focus, whether it's across cloud computing, where our solutions are based, big data analytics. The Internet of Things is an area that we've had a rich history in from the very beginning of Cyberlux and even before. We're looking at all of these key drivers as the reason to be in this market, with an enormous growth between now and 2025. Our digital software platform business unit is really driving to create a unified digital platform across clients, whether government, commercial, et cetera. And then we want these functional areas to be driving marketplaces, whether it's inside of a government agency where their marketplace will be the state or federal constituencies they serve, service automation, whether it's perhaps an application in a real estate project where property owners want to deliver services to their condominium owners or their renters, for example. Low-code development, where this can be done very easily to scale. And then, of course, integration, where we look to have enterprise data, government or commercial, better integrated and allowing better decision-making and better experiences for everybody involved in the process. When we look at this digital platform solutions area, again, this is the newest area that Cyberlux is focused on. How are we going to go about this? So when you look at the software market trends, there are new technology capabilities that are developing very rapidly. Automation has become very fundamental in the way that digital capability is developed. And we also have new business models that are developing from digitization. When we look at the platforms, there's customer transformation, there's operating model transformation, and there's information transformation that all is taking place. When you look at our platform opportunities, we see government agencies and real estate markets, field service providers, including drone operators that have an enormous amount of data coming from the management of their fleets, for example. Labor management, telecommunications, which again cuts across our infrastructure technology group and some of our other projects that we have. And you can see that once we ultimately get these constituencies connected with the digital platforms, of course, it's going to be rendered down into easy to use capability on a cell phone, for example. One specific area that I think it's important for everyone to understand is the way these things build together. So software as a service is a well-known concept, plenty of competition, plenty of capability there. We're building not only those applications that are required inside these customer sets, but also a platform as a service offering where we can really tap into the full integration of digitization within an organization, within a government agency. And you can see that there are, phase one and phase two opportunities right now that we are pursuing within the digital platform solutions group. And then if you look at a specific example within the UAS space, there's guidance systems, platform as a service, which could be not only used by our team, but also sold as a solution for a broader segment of the UAS space, including flight plans and logs, the data analytics, platform as a service, which would not only address UAS, but across the board, surveys and maps within UAS, inspection reports, video distillation, the ability to manage the video compilation coming from the UAS space is an enormous opportunity and one that we are working on very, very diligently. Again, focusing on the UAS space for just a moment, again, an $85 billion market. When you look at what we are doing and the way we are attacking things, again, we're coming from a place where we have company DNA, which is our government and commercial space. We recognize that there's retail and recreation interest and capability and opportunity. but we're going to focus our government and commercial back into the areas where we feel is most viable and mostly attached to our growth objectives. And you'll see that as our strategy becomes more communicated and thoroughly instantiated in our actions. But this is what we're planning and what we are doing currently, and where we see the UAS space moving in the very near future. The Cyberlux competitive advantage that we're building, again, when we look at a deliberate plan to reform the company, we had some specific ends in mind. We have transformed the company into a high-growth advanced technology platform company, serving those 4 market segments we discussed, founded on the advanced lighting systems and building with infrastructure technology to our UAS and digital platform solutions groups. We're accelerating the growth through acquisitions, joint venture, and then ultimately organic growth in markets that are significant. If you look at the 2025 markets, it's close to $1 trillion, as I said. We're investing continuously in our strategic intellectual property development and through acquisitions. That's an area where we think the company, again, has a rich history, and we want to have a foundation that permeates all 4 of our business segments. We have launched an innovative combination of business units, as I've discussed, and we are very excited about where those business segments will grow as we go through time. We have established a strategic value with both hardware and software, creating end-to-end capability, which is unique and differentiating in most of these market segments. And we're positioned with key growth partners inside the U.S. agencies and commercial markets, particularly commercial OEMs. And we're very excited about where the business is headed in all of the relationships we've developed in the last 6 months. Some of those will be made more public as we are very close to some announcements. We are focused on driving top-line profitable growth, again, greater than $800 billion market this year, growing to $1 trillion market and more by 2025, driving positive cash flow with our business unit and their optimized assets. And then we have a very agile management system. Again, I reflect on the organizational chart, very flat, very much everything flows as the business requires, with rapid changes as we see rapid changes required. That includes, dynamic budgets and dynamic allocations of capital where we see opportunities. Moving forward, we are an advanced technology platform company, as I said. We're going to continue to drive our projects forward with appropriate acquisitions, appropriate joint ventures. We have Operation Alpha continuing in 2022, as I said, a very thorough business plan and roadmap in place to drive both organic growth and commercialization of our technologies, both now and in the future. We're actively pursuing partnerships in UAS and our digital platform solutions as 2 particular areas. And we are harnessing the future at Cyberlux, and we're very happy to be here today. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to some questions at this point.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. We do have tons of questions for you, but we are out of time. So we want to be able to get to our next presenter in time for this. Let's just ask real quickly. Natasha Singleton says you have a lot going on. Quickly, what's the next significant milestone we can look for?
Well, we have one next acquisition that is in our pipeline that's going to be very fundamental and very enabling. And then we have, from that point forward, we'll be focusing on letting the investor community know about some of the deals that we have that are coming through the pipeline. So those are the 2 big things: one actual acquisition we're working on, and then a series of business unit related deal flows that we'll start to communicate to the public.
Okay. Well, in order to keep this show running on time, we are going to end here, but we'll send all these questions to you so you can answer them directly. And please join us again for another presentation and maybe a little longer next time. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone stay with us. We're going to transition to our next presenter. We'll be right back.